AJ. It's our presidential show, our Happy President's Day episode.
Happy
Um,
President's Day.
yeah,
Do you
surprised I
get the
even didn't.
Monday off?
No, I gotta work
No.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I miss banking. I miss banking so much. That's the goal some days to get back to credit union hours. I want to work at a
It's
school or a credit union. Like
yeah.
that's so dumb.
It's when looking at other jobs, it's hard to give up the holidays.
Yeah, like how
It's
we have
like
like the
damn.
federal holidays, but yeah, no state holidays sucks. Like that's
Yeah.
tough.
Fair
Especially
enough.
for us too, because like I work in payroll, so it's like not like we're writing any checks. Like what are we doing? Like we should definitely have the
Do you
day off,
guys
but
so if you work these smaller federal holidays, do you get anything then?
I don't think so. I don't
Okay,
think
so
we
like
get.
where my wife works, they work these holidays, but then they get off for 3 weeks over Christmas and New Year's.
Right, yeah, yeah. So they get
Yeah.
like the long extended ones, so it's
Yeah.
kind of a give back. But yeah, no, I don't think I have anything cool like that. But
That's unfortunate.
um, so yeah, so we usually start off with some NFL news, which is just such a sad gaping hole in my heart right now. It's the first Sunday we've had without football. Eagles won the Super Bowl last Sunday, so
Yeah.
at least we had your Super Bowl parade. You got to go do that on Friday.
I
That was a
did,
special
yeah.
parade.
It was incredible, dude. My people were dumb. Like that's just all
Always,
there really is to it.
always.
So watched a few fights and walked around, but like everybody was mostly in a good mood. Like you're
Yeah,
there to
you're all on the same
celebrate, have
team. Yeah, you're
fun,
all on the same
get
team. Like
drunk.
you're, yeah, yeah.
So it was really cool. I don't know how much of like the highlights you watched or anything like that, but Jordan Malata, the left tackle, he's not really one for like talking, but he's the one that leads. He
Sang.
sang, yeah.
Yeah.
So like being there with like there were easily like 100,000 people
Oh
plus
yeah,
around the art
yeah, the big,
museum,
yeah, it was insane.
and being there with like that many people all in unison, like swaying and singing "We Are the Champions,"
Yeah.
just like gives you chills.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it was so
Um,
much fun. Did you go
yeah.
with anybody? Or did you ride down yourself?
No, so I just went down by myself because I'm like the only one from my area.
Yeah.
There was like three separate groups that I knew were going, but like none of them were like some of them were like, "Oh, I'm just going to go to Broad Street." And other ones were like, "Oh, I'll be on South Street, like down farther closer to where the parade started." And I'm like, "I just want to be at the art museum. I want to be there for the speeches. Like I want to be as close as
Yeah.
I can." And like I was pretty damn close. I could see the steps. It was quite a distance, like probably
Yeah.
500 yards plus.
Yeah. Yeah. So you probably
But
had
like
yourself, but
I could see that like there were people moving, but like they had these huge jumbotrons, like
oh
every
yeah, so you
couple
could see
100 feet
everything.
moving out, and like huge speakers, so you could see and hear everything.
Oh, that's
Like
sweet.
so you're at the end of the parade route, and like I got there at like 9:30. Parade didn't even start until 11, and they didn't get to us until like 1:30 ish.
So you're just
And
hanging
so
out,
you're
drinking
just
for a
hanging
couple hours.
out,
Yeah,
like
and chilling.
drinking. It's just like a big dance party. They've got like a special DJ just like throwing up beats and shit.
Yeah,
Um,
it sounds pretty sweet. I
just
really
watching
wish we
shit
would have went.
happen.
That's yeah, being on such short notice there and like starting the new job that week. I just felt so dumb asking
Yeah.
off, and then like the weather, I was like, I don't want to drag the boys, but I'm gonna regret that one forever. I just that like it's a promise that like if there's another Super Bowl win for the Eagles, like we will
That's
be at that parade. Like
so I
there's
missed
no
the
way
one in
I'm missing it.
2017,
That's
and
yeah.
I was
Like I
like, I'm
feel
not
dumb
missing
for
this
having
one.
missed this
Yeah.
one. Like I know better now. Like if the Eagles are in the NFC Championship game, like hey, in 3 Fridays, there's a chance I might need off. Like period.
Well,
Like
it's
if we, you
to
know what
be
I
fair,
mean?
it's
Like
usually a Thursday, but they moved it to Friday for
that's
the
true. Yeah, yeah.
weather.
They should always
But
be a
yeah,
Friday anyway. Who does shit on Thursdays? But
well, they don't want to fuck up people's weekends and like
that's the
think
start of
about
an awesome weekend.
right, but think about how many people avoided the city for the whole weekend because of the parade.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, so I get it. And
yeah,
like, honestly, it's easier to shut it down on a Thursday than it is a
yeah, yeah.
Friday.
That's true too. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it
More
was incredible. And then
resources.
there's all the people making fun of the mayor of Philadelphia. I forget what her name is, but misspelling Eagles while she was really leading the chant a few weeks ago. And then
Yeah.
like she came up and gave a speech with Josh Shapiro. And everybody was like, "Is she gonna try to redeem herself?" And instead, she just ended with "Fly Eagles Fly," so
I'm not gonna
chanting.
try that
Yeah,
again.
she was like, "No, no, no, I'm not. We're not doing that game again."
Yeah,
And
I've seen
then
it. I saw a
yeah,
few. Oh, go ahead.
and then people started booing her, and it was just like, okay, like, look, I
Nice.
have no dog in the fight. This isn't my city. Like, I don't live here.
Yeah. I
Her
love the
decisions
team.
don't
Yeah,
affect me. I
yeah.
don't
It's
care.
yeah. They
But
said,
like,
but she raised taxes. You said, don't care. It reminds me. It's the Remember the Titans scene where she's like, but they're running the defense on this drawing. She's like, Cheryl. Cheryl, I do not care. Like
Yeah.
that's like they're yapping to you about what she did or didn't do, and you're like, guys, I don't care either way.
Yeah.
Like she could cut taxes or raise them. I'm not from here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did see a few highlights, like Twitter like videos and stuff like that. That's A, it was packed. B, it just looked like such a good time. And then C, saw one fight. I don't know if you saw this one. It was probably like the most viral of the fights. Dude is holding like an infant baby, holding it like the dads that give us good dads a bad name, like
Yeah.
gripped around the waist right here. The baby's just like fucking flailing, like puffy coat, hood up, so you know the thing's like choked up like this, and the baby's just he's fucking punching while holding the baby, and people are
Yeah.
just like running by and punching him. They're all in Eagles gear. I'm like, what could you have
Oh,
possibly got
dude.
into an argument about? Like, you guys, like, this should be the day of your life. And
Yeah.
instead, like, you had, like, it had to be the pettiest, dumbest shit ever.
It really
Someone
was.
moved a chair, someone cut in line. Like, it's got to be the absolute dumbest shit. It's like, this should be, like, literally, like, a day of your life. And you guys got into, like, holding a fucking infant, got into a fight over
Yeah.
some really dumb shit. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I can't, I had to think about it. It's like, unless they had true personal beef, what could have possibly happened on parade day that you're like, I'm gonna fight a fellow teammate? Like, what the fuck are we doing?
It's so wild when you get people in that tight and like, look, I get
Yeah.
it. Everybody
And
wants to
yeah.
be up
I am,
close and
I am
personal.
talking shit. Yeah, it's everybody bumping and pushing.
And yeah,
then
that's the thing
fucking-
is like people get pushed around and like you're getting
Yep.
stepped on and
Some
like
people are just there expecting a nice little walk through the park and get the parade, and other people
Yeah.
are there like, no, I'm getting to the front, and they're
Right.
hitting people, and so those two personalities
Yes.
clash. Like, yeah, you're gonna
Or
get some test.
I would argue it's even worse when it's the two people that both want to get to the front going head to head.
Yeah.
And like I watched quite a few punches be thrown and like people
Yeah.
pulling each other, like beer just like splashed in another chick's face.
And then everything, and then people get pushed, and that
Ye-
person just runs into somebody, and that dude turns around, and then it
Yeah,
just turns
and-
into this fucking thing.
yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
I'm just trying to get around.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm just chilling. I'm just a solo guy.
Beer in both hands. You're like, I'm just, excuse me.
Yeah, I'm
Just
like, I'm
slide
just
through.
chilling. I'm just a solo guy here to
Slide
see.
through.
I'm like 3 to 4 people, depending on which direction I'm looking, off of the fence. And like, I'm 6'2". I can see over most people,
Yeah.
so I can see over everybody in front of me. I have no big deal. When they did come around to me, Saquon ran right by the fence, like,
Oh yeah, that's sick.
I don't know, 10 feet away with the Lombardi trophy in his hand.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
so sick.
oh my God.
you officially have been closer to the Lombardi than anybody else that I know, probably. Which
Yeah.
is sick. So
It's
yeah,
just
that's
like-
awesome.
You just like love to see that shit. And,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's just like, people are just so dumb. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
like,
yeah,
can't we all just get along?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I feel
you
like
guys are all
Worm
bleeding-
from Coach
Yeah,
Carter.
yeah, you guys are all bleeding green that day. Like, what could we possibly?
Yeah.
But that's why I said I literally had that thought where I was like, the fuck could have started? I went through the comments and everything. I was like, anybody know why this fight started? Like, I was like, I want
Yeah.
to know the context of this fight because, like,
Dude.
this man is fighting somebody with a baby in his hand. It had to be serious. So,
Yeah. But it's
Um,
just wild. Like, the aftermath, it was like
Oh, I'm
walking
sure
through a
that place
war
was-
zone.
Oh, I'm
walking
sure
back
it's
to-
wild. Yeah, you think tailgating or part concerts are bad? I'm sure
Yeah.
Philly Parade is a
I was-
fucking
I was like,
nightmare.
oh, I'm gonna walk. So I came down Broad Street and got off right by City Hall and walked over to the art museum. It's like maybe a 5 or 6 block walk. Like, it's not that bad. But then I had to walk back that way, and I ended up going a block further over to the Reading Terminal Market to get some food afterwards. And like, it was packed, but like, what do you expect?
No, yeah,
Everybody's
you
in
were
the same
about
boat.
to,
We all haven't eaten anything of
Yeah.
substance in probably
Yeah.
5-6 hours. Like,
yeah. It's all been a
um,
hell of a week for everyone. Like,
yeah.
it's just one of those situations.
so, but yeah, just like, it's like a war zone. You're like, what the fuck happened
Oh, I'm
here?
sure. Yeah, I could not imagine. That's
Yeah.
you think about things like that, like St. Patrick's Day and shit like that. But like nothing probably compares to a
No.
Philadelphia championship parade. Like you were probably stepping through piles of fucking
Oh,
trash.
yeah.
So.
Yeah, but it was crazy. It was so much fun. I'm already like, I was like, what I was doing on my walk back was I was eyeing up the hotels that are on the parade route, and I'm
Sick.
like, I'm gonna start booking rooms at these hotels in like November, December. Like as soon as the Eagles are like, hey, there's a lock for them to make the playoffs,
Yeah.
I'll book the room, and then if they don't
You have
make it, I'll just
cancellation
cancel
probably.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cancellation. Yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah. I thought about that the other day with like so stupid. I was watching The Office the other day. There's one of the cold opens for The Office, and it's him and Michael and Dwight sitting in his office. Michael calls into this company and goes, "Hi, I have a reservation for the city, and the Olympics are in that city or whatever at that time." And she's
Yeah.
like, "I don't have a reservation for you." And he's like, "Well, I had a reservation. Like I know I made this reservation 4 or 5 years ago." And she's like, "I can't find you anywhere." goes back and forth for a minute or two, and Dwight's like, "Found it! I dug through your email. I found the confirmation code." He starts yelling out the confirmation code. And she's like, "Wow, I found it here. I'm so sorry, Mr. Scott. We did change systems a few years ago. I do see your reservation." He goes, "Great. I'd like to cancel that reservation." She goes, "Okay, well, there is a cancellation fee assessed with that." And Dwight just goes, "Like, are you fucking kidding me?" And Michael's like, "Yeah, charge it to my card." Like, the whole thought of, like, you should have just fucking hung up, dude. But that literally made me think. That dumbass scene made me think, where I was like, where are the Olympics at after LA in 28? Like, I should book a room there. It's the same thing. Like, just sell the room to somebody. Like,
Yeah.
but then, like, they don't let you transfer and all that shit. But,
Right.
yeah, like, booking an Airbnb ahead of time or something, like renting something and having ownership of it,
Yeah.
to just be smart and kind of play that game could net you like a few $100s per event or whatever. Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
thought about that the other day. I was like, damn, that's a good idea. But yeah, I'll go halvesies on you with a hotel for Philly Parade, Philly Super Bowl week or
Yeah.
whatever if it happens again. Because
Like
if you guys
that-
need Myles Garrett and you don't lose anybody this year, I feel like there's a good chance you guys run it back. So
That, and if I ever go back, I'm 100% taking my climbing tree stand with me. Because like
Oh,
people are like
yeah.
climbing the trees. I'm like, fuck that. I'm gonna climb up
I'm
in my
just-
tree stand and
it's
sit up
tree
there
stand,
all day
sit,
long.
chill.
Like chill.
cooler and shit.
Yeah.
Tree by trees, throwing beers to each other and hanging out.
Yeah. Because like everybody's
What is
like helping
What
and
is happening
boost
in
each
the
other
All-Star
up.
game right now?
I don't know. Shaq has a life jacket
They're all
on.
getting. They called everybody out in the middle while we were talking, and then now they're like covered in fishing gear. Yeah, surprise, surprise. We're filming this the night before, and it's the All-Star.
I
game
can't
right
hear
now,
it, so you're on your
there's-
own.
I
I
don't
can't
know,
turn the
yeah,
volume
there's-
on, otherwise
yeah,
it'll come
no,
up
yeah,
on our
me neither. I have just subtitles on, but they're off. So anyway,
shocker.
yeah. So it sounds like you had a good time though. So yeah,
Oh,
congratulations
absolutely.
one last time. Yeah,
Thank you.
congratulations on your Eagles. Yeah, I'm happy for you guys. But
We'll let it go, and
Yeah, as AJ Brown
unfortunately
said,
have to let
though, yeah,
NFL
it's-
die.
yeah, it's kind of on its way out, and who cares? Let's look at the next season now. So yeah, you'll have that one forever though.
I think AJ Brown's speech was my favorite. Short,
Really?
sweet, and to the point. It was
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah. Alrighty, we are currently watching NBA All-Star Weekend. We are in the final game, I believe. I don't think they finished. I feel like it's like a halftime right now because I feel like no one reached 40 yet, unless we just were talking that long. But yeah, the celebrity game Friday night had Kai
The
Cenat.
score's 11-1, so I don't know what the hell's
Okay,
going
so no,
on.
yeah, I think they're just taking a break. They did say that Shaq and TNT worked together to get the inside the NBA thing, so maybe that's what they're talking about right now. I really don't know. But yeah, we're watching the celebrity game right now, or the All-Star game. But Friday night was the celebrity game. Drewski was there, Trello was there, Jerry Rice and Barry Bonds were coaches. So there was like a lot of big names there, but like a lot of names I have no fucking idea who they were. Some actors and some rappers, a WWE star. So celebrity game was fun. It's goofy. It's people out there that don't know how to play basketball in most instances. So
Yeah.
it's always just a good goofy time to have. Saturday night they did the 3-point contest, the dunk contest, and the skills challenge. Tyler Hero of the Heat won the 3-point challenge. Mac McClung, first person ever 3-peat dunk contest, so he's won 3 dunk contests in a
Is
row
that the
now.
dude that jumped over the Kia?
Yep, he's the white kid from college.
I got that
did all the
update on my
dunks
phone,
and-
so I watched that.
Yeah, he's a kid from college that everyone was like, this kid can dunk. He did like YouTube videos and stuff, and they were like, cool, do it in a game. And now he did it. He made it to the NBA, but like not really. Like he's like G League and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they were just like, yeah, like the NBA is just abusing the fuck out of him. They're like, hey man, come do some jumps. All right, back to the G League. Shut the fuck up. Kevin Love had a really funny tweet today though that said, should we put the league on notice that a white guy has won the dunk contest 3 years in a row in Black History Month? They're like, are we allowing this? So hopefully, and somebody, John Morant retweeted and said, damn, I might have to get involved next year. So yeah, so we might have better participants in the dunk contest because I just really can't remember the last time I really like cared about it. Like Blake jumped over that car, and that was like the last time anybody's cared about it, and that was like 10 years ago. So, and then Chris Paul, of course, big brain basketball player, cheated on the skills challenge. There's a thing where you have to like bounce the ball through a hole, run,
Yeah.
and like do all these little things. One of them was shoot 9 basketballs. None of the stipulations were to make it. So Wemby goes first. Wemby's running through all the passes. Like, dude, it's a team thing. It's Wemby and Chris Paul together.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
it's
actually
first one
saw
across-
this.
Yeah, first one
Yeah.
across the finish line. And so so they had Wemby run up for anybody that didn't. He runs through, grabs it, just like launches the balls in the air, runs to the next crate, launches the balls. And everyone's like, what the hell is he doing? There was no stipulation you had to make the ball. You just had to shoot all 9. So they just launched them, let them roll. They ended up getting disqualified. The judges were like, no, you can't do that. But they blew by everyone's time
Yeah.
because they didn't shoot any of the balls. So Chris Paul did the same thing, gets up there and just chucks all the balls without even like forming a shot. So, it was really funny. But yeah, they get disqualified for that. So, and then that leads us up to tonight, which is the new format, which is the 4-team split where the Rising Stars game from Saturday night and then the 3 analyst teams, Chuck, Shaq, and Kenny, got to pick a team. And Team Chuck beat Kenny's team, and Shaq and Candace. Shaq beat Candace's team. So right now we have the championship, which is Chuck for Shaq, of course, for ratings. Um, but yeah, it's I don't know what they're taking this long break for right now. I missed it, but I love All Star Weekend. It's just such a good time. Draymond hates the new format, which he had some really good points about. Like I talked about earlier, Jason Tatum has the most points in an All Star game at 55. Doing this new format is cool and all, but like you're gonna kind of start to rob people from like the statistical all-time scorers like Melo, Kobe, D Wade kind of things.
Yeah.
So it'll kind of start to change the atmosphere a little bit, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, like shit's always changing, so like
Yeah.
you gotta kind of do it at one point. So don't know that I love the 40-point race either, though. And then also the chance that what if the Rising Stars team would have won? Like those guys weren't even technical All Stars; they're just like the best young players. So if they would have squeaked by and won that game, like you now have All Stars Sunday night with not All Stars on the floor. So like, what are we doing? So yeah, Draymond had some solid points there for once, but yeah, other than that, we're halfway through the NBA season, which felt fast. But Joe even said that the other day. It was the cutest thing in the world. He said, "What do we do if there's no football?" I said, "Buddy, fucking story. That's the question of life, man." I said, "Yeah." He asked me, "There's no football on Sunday." He said, "What do we do?" I said, "There's NASCAR and basketball and hockey." I said, "That's what we got to get through till August." But he said, "August?" I said, "Yeah, dude." So this is 6 months on, 6 months off. It's tough, isn't it? He was like, dude, he said, "How many months is that?" I was like, "Yeah, you ready to count that shit? It's a lot, dude." So when you start school next year, I said, "You'll be in first grade when we watch football again." He was like, "Oh my God." So yeah, so Joe's now sad about football, which I love. So I did tell him, I said, we're going to definitely get to an Eagles game and a Penn State game this year, though. And so he was hype about that. So yeah, he's like fully on board with it now.
There you go.
And Matt, they both went to bed tonight, too. They said, "Can we watch the race?" And I was like, "Hey, you can finish watching the race." So they both finished. I'm pretty sure they fell asleep, but yeah, they both finished watching the race. So
Nice.
but yeah, so that's all I have for NBA updates, I believe.
Fair enough. I will update you on baseball. Things are happening. That's about all I know. People are
Yeah, they're starting.
reporting.
Yeah,
They're
whatever the hell that
starting.
means.
Yeah, they're coming. People are showing up, and they'll
Doing
start spring
stuff.
training, and then eventually games start. I guess in about a month now. Um, so, just apologize. So yeah, we'll see what the hell happens and go from there. NHL. So this happens quite often where NHL and NBA have the same All Star weekend. I mean, their seasons essentially overlap, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, the NHL decided this year that instead of having like an All Star game, so the past few years they've done they do the skills competitions and all that stuff, which is really cool to see. Um, but they always did like a 3v3 tournament where it was like three players on the ice at a time, but I think the teams were like 9 or 12 guys. Um, and so that was fun because like 3v3 hockey is really exciting to watch just
Yeah.
because
They're
it's
moving and
quick
grooving.
and
Yeah.
there's a lot of scoring. This year, though, they decided to call it the Four Nations Face Off. And it's only players in the NHL. It's the United States, Canada, Finland, and Sweden all playing each other. So like it's like a round robin style, and then the two with the most points play each other for the championship, like to win it all.
Right.
And so I think it was the United States first game, possibly their second. It's definitely Canada's second game, but I think it was the United States first game. Anyway, so
Right.
they're in Boston, the TD Garden, and they play the Canadian national anthem. No problem. They start playing, or no, they were in Montreal, so I apologize. So they start playing the United States national anthem, and Canada starts booing. Right, like just the national anthem. Dude's singing the national anthem, has on like the military vest and all that. I think he was Air Force, like Class A, real dressy, all that stuff. Singing the national anthem, doing a great job, honestly. But like the fans just start booing. I don't know what the hell happened besides the fact that like Trump's putting tariffs on them. Whatever, not getting political. But I don't know what happened specifically between the players because puck drop, immediately a fight. Puck drop, immediately a fight. Puck drop, immediately a fight. There were
I
three
saw
fights
it.
in the first 9 seconds of the game in
All I
like what's
saw was that
essentially an
headline, and it
all-star
said
game.
USA Canada, and then I was like, "Oh, this is like middle of the NHL season, so it's not actual NHL players, and I ignored it completely. So I just thought this was
No.
like some like rec league shit until you started explaining those All Star Weekend. I was like, that was actual fucking NHL players. God damn
Yeah.
it! Like, yeah, I didn't even
It's
watch it
worth
at all.
it's worth looking it up and watching
No,
it.
yeah, I'm gonna have to now. I thought it
S-
was just some like under 19 USA versus Canada because I
yeah,
saw
no,
USA
no,
versus
no.
Canada on, and I was like, oh, cool hockey. And I was like, I don't. This is fucking. What are we watching? And then now I realize that it's All Star Weekend. Damn it.
Yeah.
Yes, I should have clicked on that a little bit more.
So there were 3 fights, and then the United States goes on to win the game 3-1. So now, of course, the United States is talking mad trash on Canada about being better at hockey than
Yeah,
they are.
fucking don't boo us, bitch. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what fucking happens.
But yeah, everybody's like posting the videos of this with like soundtracks like Freebird and stuff like that all over it. It's
That's
so
awesome.
great.
That's sweet.
But
That's what
yeah, it's
happens.
just like I don't. I guess the NBA is probably the only ones that can really do this, and even then, they don't have that many players from other countries. Um,
They usually that's what the Rising Stars team is. It's USA versus international, and it's because they
right,
are
but
starting to get a lot more.
I mean to
But
do this
not
where
to
like
that
you're
extent.
playing
Yeah,
for your country to
yeah,
like
no,
have
no.
that. I don't know. It worked in the NHL. I mean,
Yeah,
year one is year one's always got that like wow factor. Like this is new. This is awesome.
yep,
So we'll see how it works out over the next couple years. Hopefully they continue it. But
yeah,
so
yeah.
far
That's interesting.
fireworks, man.
Yeah,
Absolute
that's sweet. Yeah, I'll have to
fireworks.
follow up on that because I literally saw it and I was like, well, I can't be NHL players, so like, why do I care? And then I just
Yeah.
skipped it, and it
And
fucking
then
was NHL players.
USA, because they won 2 games, they got their spot in. And Canada is playing Finland. I don't know when. Canada plays Finland tomorrow at 1. That's the last of the round robin games. And if Canada wins, then United States and Canada play each other again for the the
Mm,
championship.
yeah, see, that'd be a good game to tie into too, especially because,
Yeah.
like you said, it's only an All Star game, but then they got real, so like,
Yeah.
yeah, that'll be fun.
And then seeing if I could see when that game is. Sweden.
Mostly,
Thursday. So they have they'll play again Thursday. Thursday night they'll have the championship
if
game for
Canada wins,
no. Regardless, the championship game's Thursday. It's the winner of Canada Finland plays the
USA,
United States. Yeah.
USA All Star Hockey, boom, boom.
Yeah, 8 p.m.
the
Thursday
20th.
night. So
Okay.
we can record and do something.
Heyo.
Um, I assume basketball will still be on break. I don't know when they come back. Do they get the full
I
week?
think no, yeah, no, I don't think it's the full week. They might come back like Thursday or Friday. Honestly, it might
Gotcha.
be roughly around then.
So yeah, just
this
like
weekend is like their peak point.
gotcha. Just super big fireworks, a lot of fun to watch. And that rolls us into NASCAR.
Fantasy NASCAR.
Yeah.
Fantasy NASCAR.
I mean, I know you're a degenerate and you'll put money on anything.
Yeah,
But
pretty much. That's it. I saw it and I was like, yeah, I'm down. Especially if we're gonna be doing it and talking about it. And I was like, I gotta get invested. So yeah, I'm with it. That's my mom keep every day. She was like, never thought I'd see you watching NASCAR like intuitively. And I was like, yeah, I have money in it now. I gotta pay attention. And I was like, I'm all for it. I'm in the middle of like talking to her and texting you about like the stages and stuff. And
yeah.
I was like, yeah, we're involved now.
So we were gonna do this last Thursday, and then I took off because honestly, I got up early as fuck to get down there
you
for
were
the
texting that
parade.
night. And that was one of those nights too where I was like, I'm not gonna be able to record till late. And you said, can we record early? And I was like, let's call it a night. Let's call it a night
Yeah.
already. I was like, let's not even bother.
Yeah. So
But yeah, rightfully so though. Yeah, Super Bowl week, as to be expected, we were gonna miss some time.
yeah. So for the record, we did invite quite a few people in. I'll just use their first names. I don't think they'll mind. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, we won't
But
care.
I took Todd Gillen this week for the Daytona 500. You took Austin Cindric. Tom took Joey Logano, Miranda Denny Hamlin, Bubba Joey Logano, Selena Christopher Bell, Rayan Kyle Busch, Troy Josh Berry, and Jeff took Eric Jones. So the way this works for all of our listeners is basically there's going to be 26 races, and then you can only pick one driver one time. So there's approximately 38 drivers. There's 38 cars that are chartered, and then there's usually a racing car or two. So you have essentially 38 drivers to pick from in 26 races. And then after the 26th race, we'll start the NASCAR playoffs, and the picks will reset, and will play again for the final 10 races. And at
Okay.
the end of the season, at the end of each week, the driver you selected, they score points from NASCAR. That's how many points you get. You add all those up, see who wins. Um,
Us. We did it.
so,
We split it too. So for us, like the amount of points you get, we add them all up. That's how many you get at the end of the season after all of the races. We thought of it kind of last minute and threw it up the day before, of course, as usual. And so I was like, all right, well,
no.
maybe we'll do, yeah, right. So I was like, right, I'm glad I thought of it. And I was like, we'll do a 5 game average and we'll split the pool. So half of the money is going to go to whoever has the most cumulative points for the season, and then the other half of the money will go to anybody who has the highest 5 race average. So your best 5 races for the season, highest average of those points, you can get the other half of the pool. So I did that on purpose, though. That way we can let people join in all the way up till 5 races to go. So if anybody wants to jump in late, you have the ability to do so, and then it's just a 5 race average from there. So, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
it'd be fun just to throw some money in and pick a driver every now and then. And honestly, it got me to know some of the names, and then like I went to DraftKings to see like, okay, am I picking somebody that doesn't even have a chance of winning today, or like
Right.
where am I at in here? It's like I have a strategy that I kind of came up with and was like, all right, this is what
Okay.
I'm gonna rock with. But like yeah, seeing the names on DraftKings and like the odds, and honestly, I thought about it. The rain delay was like the best thing for a new fan because it was 4 hours of them just being like, "We're bored. What do we want to talk about?" and just interviewing everybody. So I
Yeah.
got to learn like who won last year, who won years before. Kyle Busch is 0-19. Like, there's a lot of shit
20.
that it's over 20 now. Like, yeah, like there's a lot of shit where it's like, damn, like these are like there's extra storylines I wouldn't have otherwise known.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was a solid like introductory day to NASCAR. But damn, what a fucking delay and time period.
For those listeners that are new to NASCAR or want to join in, there is a I forget what it's called, but there is a docu-series on Netflix that's similar to Drive to Survive that they do with the playoffs. So they do it's just the last 10 races of the season. They focus in on those 16 guys that made the championship. It's worth
Nice.
watching,
Yeah, yeah.
as is
Just gives you a
Drive to
little
Survive,
familiarity. Yeah.
to get you involved in the sport, because like there's so much like that's happening that you just don't realize is happening as
Right.
like
It just looks
even
like
as a
cars going
fan,
around, but like
right,
there's
even as a
beef,
fan
there's
who
teams
cares
and
and pays
things.
attention to it, like there's still storylines that I'm like, oh, I didn't know that when it
Yeah, it
like
just adds
it
to
comes
it.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
um
I'd say that's why I always talk about basketballs like that too. There's like always these
oh, for sure.
storylines that it's like people getting traded and having beef with coaches and players and people that don't like each other, and the people have slept with the same wives and end up on the same team and shit. And it's like that stuff has got to matter. Like
Calling Steph on the
8 second is
8 second.
crazy. Yeah, Jokic tricked him, slowed him down on purpose. He didn't even realize that there was an 8 second timer. Shaq's team only needs 1 point too.
Oh. Oh, so they really messing around. Up
Yeah.
16 and only needing one. That's funny.
Yeah, I'm all in on NASCAR this year, especially with
I'm
no
for it.
football. That's yeah. I mean, summer. I could assume that my availability would go down a little bit. Like I can't imagine being out at like parks and stuff and being like, "Oh, I'm gonna put my phone up to watch this," but I might, like, especially with a couple
Yeah.
bucks thrown down on it. Like I might definitely, because I'm also gonna start betting on DraftKings too. Like if I'd have bet on Austin today, I would have fucking made money. Like I'm so pissed. And so yeah, so like that. It's just shit like that I gotta pay attention to. But
Well, there it
GT
is.
to the dunk. Let's go.
For what it's worth, NASCAR is one of the few sports that's actually fairly easy to record and watch later.
That is true too.
Especially
yeah.
because you can really bounce through the race pretty quickly.
Yeah,
You can be
yeah,
like
that's
click,
true.
click, 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 and like, because like
Yeah.
they're going to be talking about stuff, so it is fun to learn and all that. But like
Right,
if you're
right.
kind of in a rush, like you can kind of just click through a race,
an
fast
idea.
forwarding and watching.
I
them
swear
go
to God,
around.
every time my power's been going out all night, which was like a concern for recording tonight. But my power's been going out because the wind's been going
Yeah.
crazy. The first power outage was the first double wreck that happened like one lap apart, and then later on in the night, the power went out. Me and the boys went to go put them in bed. Came back downstairs. We were in caution lap for that wreck. Sat down here, texted you that, and said every time I've talked about a wreck, blah blah blah. Was sitting here, messaged my mom about the foursome. Looked up, was watching them talk with Ernie and Kevin Hart and like doing one of the
Yeah.
things on TV, glance back down and see Centric fucking falling in the plates, and I was like, "What is happening?" So every time I took my eyes off, there was a wreck. So yeah, so all of those I was pretty much responsible for, but yeah, it was a solid night of racing though.
Fair enough.
Um,
So yeah, for the race itself, though, William Byron did win 2 times in a
Yeah.
row. Good for him.
back to back.
There's a very famous saying in NASCAR that I'd rather be lucky than good, especially when it comes to this. So this style of racing is called plate racing. They used to run much more powerful engines, and they would put a restrictor plate on, so there was only so much air that could go into the engine, so that would slow the car down. So like, they called it plate racing. They no longer use restrictor plates, but um, the the title and sentiment remains the same. So this style of racing is basically like a lot of people are like, I'd rather be lucky than good, and like this is total luck for William Byron. Like
Yeah, he was just hanging out. Yeah, he was
he's
just chilling.
he took the white flag with in like ninth or 10th, and then ended up winning the race because everybody in
Right.
front of him wrecked. So like,
Yeah, he just said,
props to him. Yeah,
dubs. Like, yeah,
yeah,
he just said, let me just slide up through here real quick. I'm sure he
yeah,
was like, wait, what the fuck? Am I in first?
yeah.
Yeah, it happens fast.
So
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
props to him. Really cool though to see Jimmy Johnson finish third. I know that probably doesn't mean much to you. Besides, you might know his name from the fact that he
Hmm.
won 7 championships. But like he retired and like just comes back for a few races each season. He's a partial owner of. He's the majority owner of his car now. And just to see him finish third. Your boy Tyler Reddick and Mike MJ Racing.
Hmm.
Shout out! It's Michael Jordan's birthday tomorrow. They mentioned that on the broadcast tonight. So they finished second. That's your top three. My guy Ryan Blaney finished seventh after getting in a wreck a little earlier, and your pick Austin Cindric finished eighth, and then my pick Todd Gilliland finished 27th. So
Nice.
not a great night for him, but I'm okay picking him because I'm comfortable with not having to pick him at any other race the rest of the season. So
I had to look up Jimmy Johnson just now to get a face for it because, like, I know the old school racers, like
yeah,
the Waltrips and Gordon and Earnhardt and all those guys, like I would recognize,
yeah.
like even like Keselowski was talking to, and I was like, AJ used to wear that guy's hat, and then like Chase Elliott, I recognized. Like there's a couple that like I knew, just Casey Kane. He didn't race today, but that's a
It's
name that I recognize. Like,
It's interesting you say he used to wear his hat because I didn't, but he drove the
wait,
same
which one?
number of the hat, Brad Keselowski.
Okay, so you had something for him though. He was like
So
you and him have some kind of tie that I remembered you talking to me about him. He wasn't your favorite racer at any point or anything. Not favorite
no,
driver.
no, he
Hmm.
he raced my favorite driver's number for a while after he my favorite driver retired from that car, but actually he
Casey
does
Kane.
now. No, no, Mark
No.
Martin in the six car. That's what he races now. He used to be
Yeah, I
teammates
feel
with Ryan Blaney,
I don't know. Yeah, there was
the
something.
two
There was a
car.
reason that like Brad Keselowski popped up, and I was like, "Oh, that's AJ's old guy." Like I immediately was just like, "There's some kind of tie that like AJ taught me something about him or something." Like I tied him to
Honestly,
you
I
immediately.
think I think I know I think I know what it is.
Or was it NASCAR racing? Did you used to use him in the NASCAR game?
No, no, no. I use his paint schemes in iRacing because he used to be the Miller Lite car, and because I like to
Maybe
drink
that's what
Miller
it is.
Lite, I
That's it was
typically
probably
have one of
something. You
his
might have
paint
said that. You
schemes.
might have been like, I did Brad Keselowski's paint scheme, and I was like, cool,
Yeah,
that's his favorite driver. Like
yeah.
I
No, it's
just
just
knew
because he has Miller Lite on
there
the
was
side of the
something where
car.
I saw his face and I was like, that's Brad Keselowski, AJ's favorite driver. Like I immediately was just like, that's that guy. Like
Yeah, you
I
want to talk
saw
about
his
punchable
face.
guys? He's one of them.
Yes, he is a
Yes.
punchable face too. That's I was like, what a dick, dude. And then like the Bush brothers are the same too, because like
Yes.
Kyle at the end of the race like bitching about Joey Logano was pretty sweet. He's like,
Oh
I don't know
yeah.
why you trying to
They
make a
don't.
hole
They
that
don't
wasn't
like each
there. Like
other. Yeah.
yeah, that shit's so fun. So but yeah,
Um,
other than that, we have the golf league tomorrow.
yeah. Super exciting
Tigers.
stuff.
Yep. So yeah, so for President's Day on a Monday, they have a triple header. It's a 12 o'clock, a 4 o'clock, and a 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, or whatever it is. Yeah, so they got three separate matches because all the teams are in town, so they
Yeah.
just wing it. So, and then they still have. I think their schedule is like typically on Tuesdays they have games, so there's still a match Tuesday night too. So
Oh wow.
but yeah, so that'll be fun that we have the golf league tomorrow and pretty much all day of it. So I'll definitely be watching that at work. But
I mean that's pretty cool because like there's nothing else going on President's Day. Yeah.
It's good.
Good
Good
for
thing to
them.
take advantage of. Yeah, no basketball, no hockey, no football, nothing else. So yeah, why not? But yeah, other than that, we'll be back, I guess, to kind of normal here, filling in with the other sports on everything else.
We can wrap up this All Star game. Shaq's team
Yeah,
wins.
Team Shaq gets the win. We're about to find out Finals MVP right now.
This is the Kobe Bryant statue that
Yep.
you speak of. Okay.
Yep, Kobe Bryant All Star. Unless they change it for this new format, but it's supposed to be the All Star Kobe Bryant
Why?
MVP.
Is it because Kevin Hart they brought out the Philadelphia mascot? I don't even know what his name is. How sad is that?
The somewhat valuable player is what they just gave him a trophy for. Ernie said that's the SVP, the somewhat valuable player, and then the mascot said he was too small. Yeah, Kevin just received a trophy for that. They got KD, Jalen Brown, Damian Lillard, Steph Curry,
So like
Deuce there
Steph's
hanging out.
getting this, right?
Yeah. He's
right?
gotta
Like,
in the Bay, and yeah, he was balling out
yeah,
tonight. Hit a couple threes, unless they give it to Lillard. But I mean, JB scored some too. JT scored some too, but I don't think they're giving it to either of those guys. Oh, dude, Ernie in the fucking kicks. Ernie in the Jordan 4s. Ernie's such a fly guy. When I grow up, I want to be like Ernie Johnson.
they just cut away from his shoes for me, so I can't see.
Yeah, their feet fresh as fuck. Suit with the fucking retro blue 4s is sick. Show me Ernie's shoes. That's all I care about now.
How much money and shoes do you think is in that arena right now? Oh, there they are. I see them.
Thousands and thousands and thousands.
Right? Between not only the players
Just
and like
the people on the court
but
right now probably got 10 grand in shoes in the locker room and in duffel bags and in their car and shit.
yeah. All right, so Team Shaq wins this thing. I don't think there's
Yeah.
any surprise based on who he drafted.
Yeah,
Talked
yeah.
about that the other night. And
Yeah,
now we're waiting to
this
see.
was the basically the Olympics team, so like there was no reason they should have lost this. Now Dame's talking about we went kind of silent there, both of us, but yeah, so we're locked in on Dame
Yeah.
talking. Yeah, he's talking right now, trying to find out who the MVP is going to be. We can wrap up, but they're talking to Dame Lillard, getting his feelings on how it went. He said he felt like it was more competitive this year. Adam Silver's back on.
For what it's worth, I have a question for you, and this is NFL related because I genuinely want to know your opinion. If the Commanders don't lose to the Lions, so now NFC Championship game is in Detroit, and the Eagles have to go to Detroit. What do you think the outcome of that game is?
See, like, that's a loaded question because, like, the Lions that lost that game to the Commanders looked like dog shit. So, like,
Right.
Are we talking regular season Lions or are we talking the 2 playoff game prior Lions? Because, like, they barely beat the Vikings or whoever it was, too. Like, they weren't hot in there. So, if you're talking that, like, regular season Lions just showed up, then, like, I think it's kind of a toss up. Like, the Eagles were very good and should have outplayed them. But, like, if the Lions were as hot as they were, I think the momentum could have slowed. But if you're telling me that the Lions just squeaked by the Commanders, I think you guys go into Detroit and beat their fucking ass. Like, that would have been a rough
Yeah,
day
I
for
just,
Detroit. Like, Washington did it to them, so you guys would have done it to
Right.
them. Like, if they were playing the same team and roles were reversed,
Yeah.
you guys would have done what Washington did with 2 extra touchdowns. Like, yeah, I think you guys would have smoked them if it just was
like,
blatantly reversed. Like, so if you're saying that, like, Twitter is just like, well, they had an
Or
easy
Reddit,
path,
yeah.
like, or Reddit or whatever, like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
just-
silly.
so
That was
I've-
dumb too because you guys started like shit and then just like ran the table. You literally
Yeah.
just didn't lose a game after like week 3 or 4 or whatever.
Right,
You just
except for
said, "Nah,
that
fuck
Commanders game that Jalen got
Yeah, but that's
concussion
yeah,
in.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so for the record, to wrap up the NBA, Steph did win this All-Star MVP.
In the bag.
What I heard is called the Kobe Bryant statue, although they didn't say anything about it. Or award,
MVP
trophy. I don't know. Anyways, so then to go back to this, I learned today, scrolling through Reddit during the rain delay you spoke of in the Daytona 500, that apparently the Vikings are still holding a grudge from the 2017 NFC Championship game. They're pissed off. Now Detroit hates us because they think that they should have been in the Super Bowl this year against the Chiefs.
Fucking win then.
Yeah, right.
Do
And
something
then
about it.
apparently Green Bay feels the same way because we beat them twice this year. I don't like. It's
you guys were a solid team. Like,
it's so funny to me because
the hate
their
of, like, you
division,
guys got lucky is crazy. Like,
their division doesn't cross my mind at all. Like I see them on the schedule and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Apparently
Yeah,
they're
no.
all looking at us like, oh, they're big rivals. So we're just like,
Yeah,
what are you talking
who
about?
are you guys? Have we played you before?
Yeah.
It's that is kind of crazy. That's honestly, no, you guys just kind of deserved it this year, and you guys were just such a clean offense like all year long. Like that just was so incredible.
Yeah, it's just like I'm like, I mean, I guess I'm happy to be living in their heads rent free,
Pretty
but
much, yeah,
also
it's
I'm
one of
like,
those,
what are you
keep
guys
talking about
doing?
us. Yeah, I
Yeah,
enjoy it.
like-
Go ahead, keep talking about us. I'm
Yeah.
all for it.
Like, stop telling us that it would have been different if we went to Detroit. Did you see
No,
what
yeah.
Washington did to you? And then
Yeah,
did you
that's-
see what we
at-
did to Washington
At
the next
most-
week?
At most, Detroit playing their best, I give it a 50-50 game at that point because you're in Detroit and they were really good
Yeah.
too. But if you're telling me that Detroit looked anything like they did in the game before or in the Washington game and you guys were just playing them instead, like that is a rough
I
fucking day to be a
also
Lions fan.
I also found out that Amon-Ra St. Brown, I guess, tweeted after the game something about like make us their week one because we're supposed to play them next year. So he's like make us their week one so that we get to like go in and show you what the NFC Championship game should have been.
Right,
Like
right, right,
already
right.
talking
Yeah.
trash. I'm like,
Oh, so you want Jared Goff to get murdered by Miles Garrett? Sounds good.
yeah, right. Well,
It sounds
I'm
good.
like, there is no way that you're talking trash and offering to go into Philadelphia on the day we drop the banner. Like,
After you couldn't beat Washington, like it's
yeah,
like
like there's
remember that time
no
you couldn't beat
way.
Washington?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like, come on, my guy, you're better than this.
But alrighty, you got a fun fact for me?
Yeah, I do. Let me scan through these.
Scan through them.
This one's fun.
Love it.
Ireland's population is still lower today than it was pre-potato famine.
Wait, what? Their population today
Is
is
still
less
lower
than.
today than it was pre-potato famine.
So the potato famine killed everybody. And they've never recovered ever.
Yep, pretty much.
Damn. It took me a minute to think about that because I was like, wait, are you saying that like did happen again or what? But no, like you're saying that like the shit dropped and then has never returned to norms, or like
Right.
is lower now at this point. It might
That
have
was in
returned to norms.
the
30s?
1845 to
Damn,
1852.
100 years off, no big deal.
Yeah. Was the potato famine.
Interesting.
And yeah, their population still has not recovered today.
So what was why did it happen? It's caused by a potato disease called late blight. Disease was spread by a mold called Phytophthora infestans. Cool.
Did you get
So
all that for all of our biology buffs?
Is potato just like super important, or is that just like all they knew how to cook? Like, does it make like, other
It's
shit?
because of the poor quality of the soil. It's one of the few vegetables
Things
that
they
grows
can
there.
grow, so
Yeah.
they lost like everything
Um,
they had.
for the record, they make some crazy ass. So they actually make flour out of potato. It's called boxty, and it is so good.
See, that was my question. I was just
Yeah.
like, do they make? I didn't want to say it sounds stupid, but that's what I was like. Do they have like staples that are made from potato,
Yes.
like flour? Or are they just like, damn, we lost out on French fries. Guess we're all gonna starve to death. Like that's what I was like. That feels so stupid. But yeah,
Yeah.
if that's what they're using for their necessities, then fair enough that you lost
Yeah.
your main source of necessities. And not me criticizing when like a bajillion people probably starved to death. I'm just like, wow, that's fucking stupid. French fries. Yeah, that's crazy. How many people died?
Population on the eve of the famine was about 8.5 million. By 1901, it was just 4.4 million.
We went from 8 to 4.
8.5 to 4.5. Yeah.
Well, that's crazy because this says it only killed about 1 million people. I guess it only killed 1 million people.
Yeah,
but then more people
2.1
died.
million. No, they left. Can't
But
find
also,
food.
too,
You gotta leave.
True, but also like if people truly starved to death, like that might have then been like an indirect cause of like they were the provider of the family. So now those people, I mean, I guess
Right.
that still would count that they would starve to death technically because of the potato
Yeah.
famine. So
Yeah, it says roughly 1 million people died and more than 1 million fled the country.
oh yeah, yep, yeah. Damn. Yeah, that's
So,
crazy.
and then after that,
Who would have thought I would learn
50
more
years
about
after.
history in a podcast with you later in life than I would have from school? That's crazy.
if anybody saw you show up to school, everybody would have taken that bet.
Yeah, they say he's not here today. Yeah, he'll probably learn from a podcast at some point. I think it doesn't exist yet.
Maybe. We won't hold our breath.
Yeah, facts.
But
Alrighty,
yes,
well,
that wraps
solid.
up
Enjoy the
Monday,
remaining.
President's Day, February 17th. We hope you guys have a good week, and we'll catch up with some golf, and I guess that's really probably the only thing going on between now and Wednesday. So maybe we can come up
Yeah.
with something fun to do, play a game or something like that.
Yeah. I'm with it. We have some stuff ready
yeah.
to go, so we'll figure something out.
Yeah,
But yeah, we
pull something out of the bag.
yep, we the hell was I going to say? Totally lost it. No idea what the fuck I was going to say.
ADHD, man. Gets you every time.
Yeah, I have no idea. I saw the time, and then I looked over, and like I clicked on the Facebook tab and started reading something, and then yeah, it all went away. I went back, and I had nothing inside there. All right, well, yeah, GG's then. Like and
Cool.
subscribe. Thanks, Derek.
Appreciate y'all. Have a great start to your week. And if you have the
Only
day off,
180
enjoy
days
it.
till football starts.
Oh, you are counting down.
Roughly 6 months. No big deal.
All
All right,
right.
yeah,
Appreciate
GG's.
it, guys. Have a good day.